Hey guys, we'll be starting shortly. Just going to allow for a few more people to come on.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is Xavier Brown. You guys are pretty much very much familiar with me. So I'm a fourth year medical student as well as a senior tutor here at Hyper Academics Jamaica Limited. And I want to welcome you guys to our wrap session for year one, semester two. Um, Very thankful to have you guys here. And before we actually begin, I want to congratulate you guys for making it past one semester of med school. It may seem minor in the grander scheme of things, but it's actually it's quite impressive. So today in this wrap session, we're going to be discussing an approach or approaches that you guys can actually take from and actually modify. Yes, good evening, Jeremiah. That you guys can use to approach this semester. You guys should be aware by now that you'll be covering quite a number of courses, and therefore it is paramount that you actually have an approach this semester. So again, I want to congratulate you guys for making it thus far, and all the best this semester. We're going to see how best we can assist you as both colleagues as well as Hyper Academics Jamaica Limited.
Hi guys, Devon Malcolm Booster here, as you already know, Managing Director here at Hyper Academics Jamaica Limited, and just want to echo the sentiments of Xavier in welcoming you to another semester, congratulating you on making it to your second semester as a university student, MBBS student. Just want to give a word of encouragement on behalf of the company to do your best this semester. It's going to be a heavy semester as you start your system-based courses, Respiratory System, Haematology, and Neuroscience 1, and continue with cell biology, and then I think you also have HCC. Yeah. Just the word for this semester is balance. Try your best to balance as best as possible the workload, and distribute the time that you commit to each course accordingly. But also, we want to also thank you for trusting Hyper again for this semester, and know that the Hyper quality assurance is as certain now as it was in last semester, and we look forward to working with you and helping you reach your goals for this semester. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand over to Simon, who is gonna take you as well as the rest of the team to the throughout this presentation. But just before I hand over to him, I want to also welcome two of our new assistant tutors, Lisa Marie Whitaker and Rashid Fontenelle. They are both new tutors here at Hyper Academics, and yeah, we look forward to working with them, and we can assure you that they are way beyond the standard that we look for here at Hyper Academics. And so we have every confidence that they, alongside Kyra and Simon, will help you get to your goals. Okay, so all the best. Simon?
Hey Devon, okay, let me share my screen real quick. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So guys, welcome back to another semester. I don't want to repeat it for the third time, but quickly, I just wanted to congratulate you guys on crushing last semester. You guys made it through and you're here to tackle semester 2. Now, I have a lot of points to give you guys today, but the main thing I just want to tell you before we start is that semester 2 is going to be difficult. It's not going to be um, like semester 1 at all. Why? Because you're doing a lot more courses, right? And that means a lot more credits to go towards your GPA. So it's very important that you stay focused this semester. So let me just move on to the next slide right here. So again, difficult semester, lots of courses, more credits than before. You're also doing your first system-based course. You're doing the respiratory system. That's going to be a heavy course. That's going to require a lot of focus and a lot of time that you guys have to put in if you want to do well. The earlier you start, the better. This semester is no joke, as I keep saying. You have a lot of courses to a lot of topics to go through, especially courses like HCC healthcare concepts that you don't know much about right now. But over the next coming weeks, you're going to be doing a lot of lectures for that course. So it's best that you knock out a lot of those lectures earlier so you have time to focus on the other courses that you start later for the exam. Practice questions would also be your friend this semester, I'm telling you guys. That really saved me when I was doing a lot of the courses this semester. I felt that a lot of the lectures, they could only make so many questions. So the more practice questions I was doing, the better off I was on the exam. So let's start off with the first one. So heme. So you guys, I looked at your schedule and I noticed that you did the first couple lectures in heme and you probably had got to meet Dr. Peppel, right? He's a great lecturer. I really enjoyed his classes. I attended most of them. Um, all the heme lectures will be done early. So I suggest that you guys try to stay caught up so you can finish studying early and so you can focus on the other courses. Dr. Peppel's slides are great. His questions come from his slides. So what I did to really master this course, I pre-read most of the slides before the lectures so that when he was actually going through the lectures in class, I already had an idea of what's going on and I could kind of think of what kind of questions he'd ask me as the lectures were happening. The lectures are short as well. They're like, I think 20 slides, 30 slides. So it shouldn't take you that long to pre-read them. You shouldn't be spending that much time the day before. I prioritized heme over some of the other courses like IMP because, you know, heme isn't pass-fail like IMP. And there are other courses that I'm going to talk about like health and environment, cell bio. Those courses are a bit easier, I'd say, than heme. Heme requires a bit more time. So I suggest you focus on this course as well as some of the other courses I'm going to show you right now. Neuroscience as well, another important one. Heme, neuro, I'd say Respi and HCC are the 4 courses you should probably focus the most on this semester. Heme, neuro, Respi, and HCC. Neuro, Dr. Young is okay. I thought her slides are okay, but I found that most of the slides don't tell you the full story. They have like all the important points, but I felt like if you want to do really well, you should use videos like hyper videos and other little resources to get a better picture of how the stuff works. I pre-read most of her slides the day before as well because that helped me understand the lectures. But when the exam time came around, I mainly used her slides as a secondary resource to kind of review what I should focus on. And unlike Dr. Peppel, her questions require a bit more application. So you really need to get a good understanding of neuroscience to do well. Neuroscience is a very fundamental course, I'd say. You need to master this to have a good grasp on how the body functions. In year 2, semester 1, they're going to draw on your neuroscience 1 knowledge. Even in year 2, semester 2 that I'm in right now, you're going to do neuro 2, where you're just going to be building on this knowledge. So it's very important that you master this content from early. It's not a difficult course, I'd say, but it takes a little while to grasp it in the beginning. But once you get it, like it's really a nice course. Kyra and Lisa will be teaching most of these classes at Hyper, and me and Kyra will be teaching most of the heme classes as well. Kyra, Lisa, or Rashid, do you have anything you want to add about heme or neuro before I go and talk about the others? Or it's
All
okay.
right. Good night, guys. This is Rashid. One thing I want to add about heme is that Hoffman Essential is an essential resource. You need that textbook, and I really think that you should supplement your physiological lectures with Hoffman's Essential. And even when you get to the pathology, you need to really comprehend the pathways and everything. Hoffman Essential is a go-to.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So Dr. Pep is going to teach you a first couple lectures, and then Dr. Worf, I believe, is going to come in and teach you the highlighted lectures that I put there. Those three highlighted lectures, I'd say, are like pretty difficult compared to the others, and I'd say the notes aren't the easiest to understand. So it's very important that you focus on those lectures because they'll come back in a lot of questions. But yeah, Kara, is there anything or no, there's nothing.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good night. So for basic hematology, you pretty much covered everything. I would say basic hematology finishes somewhere about mid-February. So ensure that you're on top of the topics. For YouTube, I used a good amount of YouTube videos to kind of understand what's going on. So Ninja Nerd has a wonderful playlist on that, and Medicosis Perfectionalis again has a couple of videos you can use. The textbook that Rashid just mentioned was a lifesaver. So if you use all these resources, you're good to go for basic hematology. The lecture slides are good, but you want to supplement it with something else. And I think overall, I was a bit, well, I wouldn't say nervous because Simon is really the hematology boss when we were in class last year. But overall, for basic hematology, I really pushed myself for a really, really good grade because you can do well in this course, right? It's an easy, well, let me not say easy. You require some work, but it's an opportunity for you to grab those 3 credits, right? Really, really good opportunity. I supplemented everything by attending hyper classes and the crash course at the end of the semester. For neuroscience, again, the lectures are, they're okay, but you can supplement it with videos from Medicosis Perfectionalis. He has a wonderful playlist again. And yeah, I went to hyper classes for those 2 courses. But overall, you have about 20 topics for each course. And once you, take the time out to run through these, don't let March finish and you haven't been through these topics, right? Because you have other things to deal with. And Simon will touch on that later.
Exactly. I also wanted to touch on the heme quizzes. Like every 2 weeks, they'll post like 15, 20 questions that you can do. And I thought these quizzes were excellent resources to study. Don't be sad, don't be ashamed if you get a lot of the questions wrong when you do the quiz the first time. I wasn't getting the great marks as well for those quizzes, but I use that as a learning resource because every question that I'd get wrong, I'd write a detailed explanation as why I got the question wrong and how I was supposed to arrive at the right answer. And I felt like that was very important in doing well in heme. So don't be disappointed when you guys, if you get a low grade on these quizzes, but instead use these quizzes as a learning resource. Don't just get the questions wrong and then move on with your day. Really take the time to find the correct answer and and make sure you write down how to get to the correct answer. And then you have Respi, right? Respi is going to be one of the heaviest courses you're going to be doing this semester. It's your first system-based course. And as the regular approach to these system-based courses is to take a methodical approach to start off with embryology, because that's the beginning of everything. Move on to your anatomy, physiology, pathology, and micro. If you take this approach, you'll understand more as you go along, and you'll find that the content is much more manageable. The anatomy can be overwhelming, but that's why US is here. We have lots of PowerPoints to help you guys really understand the content. And I use resources like Anki and Quizlet, those flashcard apps and stuff to really memorize the structures early. You'll be continuously tested on a lot of the respiratory anatomy in other courses as well. So it's best to master it from early. Attend your US classes, guys. Please don't skip your US classes. Do the Socrative quizzes. I'm not going to lie, I did skip some of the anatomy tutorials, but the Socrative quizzes helped me where I was lacking. There are also the teachers, don't be shocked when they skip a lot of your physio and path classes like they do every year. You probably have to study a lot of the content on your own. I use hyper videos and some physiology textbooks which help me understand a lot of the content. So yeah, that's what I recommend. And past paper questions really saved me for this course. So when you guys study like second, like you finish the embryology, you can do the embryology question, do some anatomy questions. I found that really helpful when I was studying, and I recommend you guys do the same as well. Is there anything else you guys want to add? Rashid, Kara, Lisa, or?
Yeah, so I think you did a wonderful job, but what I have here in my notes is that for anatomy, so respiratory system is about 40 topics, right? It's really a lot to cover in a short space of time. You will basically be in class and you'll be wondering when they finish the anatomy portion. And if you don't like head and neck anatomy, you're gonna be struggling with respiratory system, right? So some of the resources that I use for the anatomy portion, I use LAS. I particularly like LAS. I use Nettles also. Don't forget your blue link images. Wink, wink. I attended US when I had the time, but your US classes, the PowerPoints were really, really helpful for the anatomy portion. Physiology, right here in my notes, I have Xavier, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Xavier literally helped to save my life when it came on to respiratory physiology. I hope that you guys have a good experience with it this semester.
Xavier saved me as well. Saved me for physiology. The best.
Yeah, he was wonderful. It was wonderful. And Ninja Nerd also has, I have to say, this has a wonderful playlist for respiratory physiology. It's a couple videos and they're kind of long, so you have to dedicate your time to go through the videos. But I didn't use a textbook for this, for the physiology portion. I just used Ninja Nerd and Xavier, and I was good to go. I understood everything for respiratory system, the physiology portion. Pathology, your lecture slides are pretty good. I normally supplement my pathology lectures with Robbins' pathology. Depends on what you guys would like to do. But I feel like Robbins is a really, really good book. And for your microbe and your farm, the farm is very, very important for respiratory system. They like to test on the farm sometimes. So I use the lectures. They were really good. And I would make flashcards for the drugs. And when I'm reviewing at the end of the semester, close to exams, I would go back over the flashcards, review the flashcards for the pharmacology. And also for neuroscience, very, very important. Those drugs will come back to haunt you again from neuroscience. They'll come back in year 2, in semester 1, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be learning about them again. I think that's pretty much it for respiratory system. So this course will definitely require time to sit down and go through the topics and try to understand the principles.
Yep. All good points from Kara. For healthcare concept, HCC, this is not a joke course, guys. Listen up. Most people think, oh, neuroscience, heme, resp, you need to focus on those that don't have time to focus on healthcare concepts. Do not slack on this course. There are a ton of lectures for this course. Try to make summary notes for each class. So by the time exam comes around, you just have to review, for example, like a page for each lecture. That was my strategy to taking on this course. Be responsible, do a little work every day. I'm not really the type to sit down for 8 hours and study. I'm the type to put in like 3 hours every single day of the week. I suggest that you take a method like that so you don't burn out. To motivate myself to study this course, I picked like some of the most interesting lectures and I studied those first. And when I went to study the rest, I felt like I already completed like 3/4 of the lectures. So I found that really helpful. But you're going to do a lot of healthcare concept lectures over the next couple of weeks. Take every single day to go over 2 lectures, to make notes on 2 lectures or 1 lecture even. Just make some progress, because this is not one of the courses you want to leave until the end and then have 30-something lectures to go through. this has more lectures than like what cell bio, heme, neuro, all of those. Like this is a really heavy course with a lot of credit, so you don't want to do bad on this. The exam questions aren't difficult at all, but what's difficult about this course again is the content. So you must think of ways to motivate yourself so you can stay caught up in the content and so you don't fall behind. Carrie, you have anything to say on this or?
Yeah, I agree with you. Healthcare concepts, if they don't change anything, you'll have group work. So you have to work in groups. That's about 15% of the grade. And then you have normally you have a mid-semester, and that would have been 15%. And then the final exam, of course, is going to be 70. I counted the topics for this. You have about 36 topics to go through for healthcare concepts. And by the time you look, the time will go. So you have to ensure that you go through the topics. I'm not the kind of person to do the work every day of the week. So I tend to like set time on my weekends to go through my courses. But for healthcare concept, you have to go through the lectures at least on a weekly basis. So basically they don't pile up on you. You understand? So that's basically all I have to say for this. It's 4 credits. You can't play with the 4 credits. And once you go through the lectures are pretty, good. I didn't use a textbook for this. Once you go through the lectures, you're good.
I agree with everything that was said too, but one thing I want to make you guys know, it is not a common sense course. It's very physiologically based and it's highly subjective. So you have to stick to your lectures and ensure that you stay on top of them.
Excellent. Yep. I totally agree as well. Cell bio. Okay, so you guys already had a taste of cell bio in semester 1. But let me tell you, semester 2 is more difficult than semester 1, content-wise. Go through the lectures, make notes, study a little every day. The lectures are going to be scattered out this semester, so it's going to seem like you have, there's 2 cell bio lectures this week, or it's not that much, but don't let the end of the semester come and you have all of the semester 2 lectures to go over. Practice questions will be your friend in this course. They like to test you on the different cycles. You're going to do glycolysis, gluconeogenesis, Krebs cycle, etc., etc. We didn't have a test in semester 1. So I studied the semester 2 content early in semester 2. So I would have time to study the semester 1 content later on. But I see that you guys did get a test, so you may have a different study approach. I'll be doing a couple of hyper sessions on the cell bio content with practice questions, so stay tuned for that. Most people find the cell bio content scary and overwhelming, but I would say the exam at the end of the day isn't too difficult. So that's why I said to really focus on the other 4 courses that I mentioned, healthcare concepts, respi, neuro, and heme, because I feel like those really required a lot more time, for me at least. Health and environment. Again, this is one of those courses that I don't recommend you set too much time for. Unlike, you have more important courses to study. You can slack off a bit, I'm not going to lie, but don't slack off too much on this course. I would say get the hard lectures done first. The lectures on the arboviruses, the vectors, the pests, vector biology, ecology, those lectures, and then leave like housing and health and introduction to environmental health and medicine. Leave those for last. Get the hard lectures out of the way so you can take it a bit easier closer to the exam. You'll probably forget about this course somewhere along the way, and then you find out you have a test in a week. So that's how it was for me. Anything you want to add, Kara, Rashid, for H&E or cell bio?
Well, for cell bio, what I would say is that you guys will, well, more than likely you guys will have a lab in like mid-February, and pay attention to that lab because it is for maths and you want to maximize your marks with this subject. And also close to the exam, remember to keep your labs close by so you can review them because questions tend to come from your lab. And nothing.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I also agree with that, Rashid. I'm pretty sure section B was pretty much the labs for cell bio. For cell bio, the lectures were pretty good. I think they were detailed, but if you like for cell bio, I used the YouTube videos to kind of review the different processes. And I use a textbook. It's a little bit high yield, but it's called Lippincott Biochemistry. It was a really, really for me, it was a really, really good book to read, just to supplement the lectures and so on. For the metabolic processes, you have to know them. You have to know your substrates. You have to know your enzymes. You have to know the product. You have to know the metabolic processes. So write them out on a piece of paper, on your whiteboard. You have to know them, right? They'll ask questions on this to kind of for you basically to apply the knowledge that you're supposed to have, right? And for health and environment, I would say for health and environment, yes, like this is one of the courses that are going to be on the back burner. It was on it for me. Health and environment don't require a lot of your time. Don't give it too much energy, but you really want to pass this quiz. This quiz is about 15% of the grade that you'll get in year 2, semester 1. So the lectures are pretty sufficient for health and environment. I think Hyper offered a paper for this. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to mix up this with the semester that just passed. But health and environment, once you go through the lectures, they can be a bit tedious, like the arboviruses lecture and the vector biology. I didn't really like them because you're going to be learning about like flies and so on. So once you just spend time on the lectures for health and environment, you're good to go. You can score your 13-14% out of the 15%. So that's pretty much it for health and environment.
Yes. As Kara said, that 15%, you're gonna want to get full marks for that, because the exam is not going to be as simple as those quizzes. And lastly, cardiovascular system. So you guys are basically just going to be doing the first part of the cardiovascular system, just focusing on the embryology and the anatomy. I don't really have much to say for this. I did not spend enough time at all doing this. I mostly studied this the break after the summer of year 1. But I would say watch the Gardner videos. Find some Gardner videos. They're really good for this exam. I used that the week before to really study for this anatomy exam. Know your histo slides. Go to some of the tutorials that they're going to have for this class, because that's really the only way you're going to get to see the cadavers and how the structures look. But I ultimately studied a bit late for cardioanatomy, for the cardiovascular system, for the exam for this course. But I was fine at the end of the day. It wasn't too difficult. You won't get back your result for this exam until you finish the cardiovascular system in year 2, semester 1. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. A lot of people say they do bad on this, but their final mark for the cardiovascular system is good, because they tend to make the year 2, semester 1 part exam pretty easy. So you can make up for that as well. Is there anything else you guys want to add about cardio, or? Nothing?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
cardio, what can you say about cardio? Like,
yeah.
when I was doing cardio last year, I just felt it felt like a burden. You have so much dealing with, and you have to be balancing cardiovascular system. So what I did for anatomy, don't be like Simon, guys. Not everybody can be like Simon. Don't leave it for last minute. So I use Last. Last is a pretty good book for the anatomy. And again, Dr. Francis will have some quizzes that you can use. Really, really good explanations at the end of at the end of every question. You'll get explanations for the questions. So I think his quizzes are really, 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 really good for cardiovascular system. Again, your slides for histology, and you're good to go. For embryology, they'll sneak in a couple questions in the spot on embryology. Ninja Nerd has a very, very good playlist. Again, I'm sorry for this is not a plug, but yeah, Ninja Nerd has a really, really good playlist for the embryology, and I use Langman's to supplement that. So that's all you can really do for this. You won't get by the grade, but aim high,
Yeah. So this is going to be a heavy semester. Honestly, I would say this was the heaviest semester so far in my medical school career. This, and especially some of you are going to be doing that extra course as well. I didn't take crit, or whatever it may be. or the language course, sign language or whatever. I didn't take that in this semester. I actually took it over the summer, so I didn't have as hard a workload as like Kyra, for example. But at the end of the day, you guys need to stay on track of your courses this semester. You can't let them slip away from you. You have a lot of work to do. Some courses end earlier than others, so study, try and study them before you start the next one, if that makes sense. If heme ends early, try and finish that before you start respi or whatever. And yeah, attend your US classes, guys. So that's all I'm gonna say for that. Devon, you can take it away now. Or Xavier. Is Xavier here?
Hi guys. Okay, coming right up. Okay, so thank you so much to the our tutors for giving you such a comprehensive overview of what to expect for this semester from school and from hyper and that kind of stuff. My task here is really to just before we go into just showing you the pricing and everything, I want to also give you a look at some of the containers so you know what is in there. But we want to first of all again stress that our three flagship products, hyper videos, hyper review sessions, and hyper papers, they go hand in hand, especially when it comes to the hyper review sessions. Tutors are going to require that you look at the hyper videos first, so that you can come having already a foundational understanding of the topic, because the session is meant to be a review session augmented by questions and that kind of stuff. And if you come blank, it will really limit your ability to take the most out of it, right? And so for that reason, this semester, when it comes to purchasing the products, you would be able to purchase the hyper videos alone if you would like that. You would be able to purchase the hyper papers alone if you'd like that. But when it comes to the hyper review sessions, it is paired and unpairable with it is paired rather and inseparable from the hyper videos. So if you buy the hyper review sessions, it is together with the hyper videos. You will not be able to just buy the sessions only this time around, because we want to stress the importance of using them hand in hand. And so just showing you, for example, the recipe container, it is pregnant with wonderful videos that would have been mainly done by Xavier, perfectly organized into categories: physiology, pathology, and embryology, as well as some other tutors. We have the hematology videos all here. This basically covers every God Almighty thing from start to finish for the syllabus for basic hematology. Again, the review sessions are going to complement these as well, and we have our cell biology videos in the containers, as well as for neuroscience 1. And then again we have the hyper Q bank. You have the categorized Q banks, as well as you have mixed papers. So there's for each of these sessions this semester, each of the courses this semester, there are mixed papers, 2 mixed papers that have questions from all the different categories. But then you also have the ability to do questions according to categories, as you know. Now, in terms of making a purchase, you know that you go to hypercommunity.com/shop, you click on year 1, and you just add them to your cart. Remember this semester that, for example, if you add hyper review sessions and hyper videos to your cart, you don't need to add the red one, right? And as you add them to your cart, it's going to calculate your discount. So if, for example, if you get everything for all courses, you save $47, and the equivalent in Jamaican at the rate of 157.5. You know that you have payment options are with PayPal, bank transfer. Ensure that you consult with us first before you do the transfer to ensure that you use the right account. As well as on the site is the payment gateway on the site is managed by Surgical Bank Jamaica Limited, and so it is very secure for it to make a payment. Now, shortly after this session is done, I'm going to send 4 coupons. One of the coupon would have a 25% discount, and only one person can get that one. And the second coupon would be a 15% discount that only 2 people can get. And the third one would be a 10% discount that only 3 people can get. So there are 6 special coupons: 125, 2 15s, and 110, and 3 10s. And then there will be a fourth coupon of 5% that if you don't get through to any of them, you can use that 5% coupon. All the coupons expire tomorrow night. So grab that opportunity as best as possible, as fast as possible. It's a first come, first serve basis. So I'll send them in the group when the session is done. And we start this weekend with a free session as usual. So see you this weekend. And yeah, does anybody have any questions either for me or for any of your tutors? Any questions? Okay, it seems as if we have no questions. So without further ado, anything else, Simon, Kyra?